Let's talk cards, whatnot, making some much needed, in my opinion, changes. Sppongebob is insanely hot right now, and we got a busy weekend for the Auburn Cards crew. This is Let's Talk Cards, powered by Auburn Cards. I'm Zach Blackerby. He is Christian Rauh. Let's start with the big news from the hobby that I think a lot of people are talking about, and I do think it'll impact the market to some extent. Whatnot putting out saying, hey, you can't just throw together repacks anymore. There's going to be some level of auditing system. And the main thing that I think most people have problems with is when it's just repacks with no checklists. And you're seeing repackers react in different ways, depending on if they've been doing it this way or not on the interwebs. But I think overall, this is a net positive for Whatnot and for the hobby.
Yep, I'm with you. I think this is definitely a big thing. It gives kind of like an independent auditing system to just the entire system when it comes to repacks, things like that. I can't help but be excited about the checklist thing. And I know this doesn't exactly include it right away because it's more talking about, the repacks and things like that. But I can't help but stress and look right at the Donruss with the downtowns. Like, I wonder if it ever goes to that point to where they make actual sets and actual releases have checklists.
Yeah. The whole Donruss thing this year was so bad. And
That's immediately what came to my mind when I read the checklist. Yeah.
Is there one yet? Have they made one yet?
Not that I've seen, man.
That's
still
crazy.
There.
That's ridiculous. But yeah, as far as what's going to be expected now, I am curious how you prove that the checklist is correct. And I'm sure that's going to go into the auditing system. But I mean, I've been in and watched and participated in like several Whatnot streams where you just kind of take the word of the streamer, and that it appears that will not be enough. There are some interesting cases. The repack that I do the most often, because it's so affordable, it's cheaper than buying a blaster, and I think the upside's tremendous, and I've hit a few times, is like folks like Card Collector 2's stream. They do a slab pack, and they put most of the time there's 100 cards in a bubble mailer, and it's $30 a spot, and most of the cards are $15 to $20, and then there's one or two that are big, and they put the entire checklist on the notes part of the stream. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And so you kind of look at it and you're like, all right, I'd like 8 of these cards, 8 and 100 shot for $30. Like, that's better than any wax you're gonna get. And I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll do it. And usually like the floors are still of like good players, and so they still typically move in shows, and it's like, okay, I recoup half my money. Cool, that was worth it. My understanding is like that wouldn't work in this new era, and like I don't see anything wrong with that. So like that's my only issue with this.
Yeah, I'm guessing the only reason they're not going to say that works is because it's probably really hard or difficult to police a notes app portion on the What's Not app. You probably have to have something a little bit more structured. So I'm guessing their AI process can be able to review and make sure that they can have a checklist and they can actually police it, because it's so easy to change that notes app on What's Not app. I do like a lot of things that they're doing here, though. I think this is good for market growth. I think this is good for buyer's risk, as you mentioned, right? That thing you had, what Card Collector 2 does, and he's one of the best in the industry. He does
they're great.
Something he does something where you get 8 of 100 chats where you're like, yeah, that's great. But that's not always the case. There's a reason why they're doing this, because there's a couple bad eggs in the hobby. And Whatnot isn't just doing this out of limb. They're doing it in response. Fanatics launched that repack line that has real-time valuations, live checklists to improve their transparency. Right. PSA, of course, what they're doing, not only are they raising their prices, but they introduced a repack certification program to act as an independent auditor themselves as well. So it's a reactionary process from Whatnot, but I think it's a really smart move for them because they're trying to stay up and be the top person in this hobby, because it's only growing, Zach.
Yeah, no, I mean, they got evaluated recently like over $1 billion. Like, I think they're in the billions now, which is insane. Curious to see how this impacts the market as far as repackers buying. I mean, if you've been for a long time and you price your stuff appropriately, like repackers find you, like that's part of this. And I do wonder how much of that is why the hobby keeps heating up, is because you're able to continue to like beat comps, and that over a course of time is going to raise everything. Rising tide, raise all boats, or whatever the phrasing is. And so I do wonder if there's less of that, what that looks like. Like we've got a buddy that comes to us a lot, and he does a smaller repack. He's got like 1 or 2 streamers that he works with, but like he doesn't have a checklist. But I mean, that's 2 or 3 cards that we wouldn't sell in any given show, and that magnified by thousands across the country. I am curious to see what that looks like.
I would not be shocked if the initial impact is against small sellers, and I think that's where you'll probably get your most pushback, because there might be not to throw out crazy business words here, but there might be really tough barriers to entry. There might be some difficult, when it comes to maybe increased costs to put in the checklist, or there might be a couple loopholes or whatever the case may be, and it might hurt the smaller sellers at the initial beginning. But I think in the long run, I don't think it's going to impact them if the longer they can stick around. And I think it's going to benefit everybody, buyers and sellers. And when you're looking at what Whatnot's doing, where they're trying to, improve and react to what others people are talking about. When I mentioned what Fanatics, PSA, we're also seeing what's going to happen with Snipe. Remember we talked about Snipe in last episode. That's still on the table, and that's something that's about to launch. They got to find a way to remain as the top person, that lead agent inside of this hobby, because it keeps growing and it's nowhere even close to peaking. And it's at the exact moment, and Whatnot has to keep going with it. So as long as small sellers can stick around, and as you mentioned, like you said, that guy with his repacks, if he can find a way to stay around, I think it'll be okay for them.
Yeah. I also wonder how much of this is legally motivated for Whatnot, because
it's a good point.
When you do the what, and we did this years ago now, and my assumption is the process is easier than it used to be. But when you got on Whatnot, you used to have to take this like class where you go and it's like you and 10 other people and you listen to this, experienced Whatnot streamer talk, and you had to agree on a bunch of things. And if you did a repack, there was like an extra thing that you had to do. And we're like, well, we're not doing that. So we didn't do it. But my understanding is like, I don't think that's a thing anymore. But I also wonder how much like the pull games, have you seen any of those where like you may have the stream will show, 100 spots, and sometimes they're like all in a row, and they're like, you like, hey, tell me what number. Then they pull out, you say 27, and you pull out 27, and like, that's a repack too. Yeah. Do pull games count in this? Because like, that's a lot of what the Pokemon side of Whatnot looks like. Or like spinning the wheel, and it's like you spin the wheel and it's like, all right, you got, spot 61, and you go to 61, and then you pull out 2 commons that you paid $8 for or whatever. Like that's repack as well. So I'm assuming that goes away too, because I'm wondering, and there's some chatter of like the legal implications of this, because like at that point it's just gambling. But then you could also argue, so is opening packs, if that's all about just the value. So I don't know. I kind of wonder how much of this is Whatnot saying like, look, 1, this is morally the correct thing to do. But 2, I wonder if how much of it is either they're already feeling pressure, or they're like, hey, we see this coming and we want this to go away.
Yeah, an entire month, the whole 30 days to figure this out and speculate even more, because as we're talking right now, it'll be effective exactly a month from today, November 3rd, 2025. Interesting stuff. We'll see who gets ruled out, bad actors, or if it's a risk game. It's going to be exciting stuff, though. I think it's good for the long run.
Yeah, I do too. 100% agree. 100% agree. Sppongebob, new Topps Chrome product came out. Sppongebob, and like, I'm going to be honest, this isn't for me. Like, I am not the demo for this. I watched SpongeBob some growing up, but I'm not a SpongeBob fan, so to speak. But goodness gracious, I think the cards look good, and the resale value seems to be awesome. Once again, like, it's priced pretty similar to Disney, which I don't think is, I don't like, in my brain, that doesn't make sense, but there's probably less printed because this is more for like a niche audience. Not that SpongeBob's not huge, but this isn't for me. But I do think the cards look good for sure.
Yeah, I think they're really pushing towards that nostalgic value when it
Yeah.
comes to selling it at the same price of Disney Chrome. And of course, it's being the 25th anniversary. This isn't something that's going to drop yearly like we saw Disney Chrome over the last couple years do. I think they're fun cards. I'm with you. I'm not. This isn't something I'm going to rip. But if I was, this would be an immediate rip and flip for me, Zach, because the prices are insane. We're seeing some really big cards that are popping out, like for example the F is for Fun, that song. They had a super refractor 1 of 1 just sell on eBay 2 days ago for $5,000. So, I mean, if you're getting a $400 hobby box, the same price about Disney Chrome, I mean, that's an insane price if you think about it. But if you hit one of those, you're doing pretty well. Now, they also
I'm
have
wrong,
like the value.
Christian. I'm wrong. It's way cheaper than Disney. My bad. Disney was 450 ish. This appears to be 250 ish. So my
So that was
bad.
250 at a raffle. What I saw, I think the actual hobby boxes are still $400.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they that was like an early thing. Yeah, because overall, I think they have the value boxes at 40, and then the hobby boxes I think are still $400. I saw a couple different things. I could be wrong, but I think that 250 thing you saw was a raffle when the launch started.
Okay. Got it. And the I'm trying to just like pull up on shopping, Google Shopping to see. Yeah, the top one that came up said 430,
Yeah.
475.
Yeah, and now we're in the reselling of them probably too, because this has been about a month since it's been released. Overall, with the pre-orders and everything, you could
Yeah.
probably buy the value boxes. I'm sure this isn't going to sell out or be anything crazy like we're seeing right now with Disney Chrome, where the prices are already skyrocketing. But you know, the SpongeBob thing, because it's so nostalgic, and you mentioned it's probably short printed. You're probably going to get lucky if you can pick one of those hobby boxes. You're probably gonna get some good cards in it. So if you take that risk, you probably can easily flip it. But either way, that's a crazy thing for a non-sports card, in my opinion. That I'm not touching that. But it's fun to look on socials and see some of these cards and bring back those nostalgic memories. And we were kind of talking offline. I remember the channel of these cartoons, channel 27 when I was a kid. You know,
Right.
they don't even have 27 channels. It's now in the thousands when we talk about that, or you stream something. But now it's just insane. It's fun to look at and pay attention to. But the flip is definitely there if you're one of those non-sport kind of hobby players.
Yeah, they're selling for sure. This says every 12 box hobby case should yield 5 autos or 5 sketch cards.
Wow.
The 40 box value blaster cases average 2 autographs.
And sketch cards are usually 1 of 1, right? Usually.
They're all, yeah, I think they're always 1-1. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that tells me the hit rate's higher than it is for Disney based off if that's true. Which they're going for less too. Like on eBay right now, like before we started this, I kind of wanted to see what some of the stuff was. There's a buy it now for Patrick Starr, who I assume that I would assume that auto would be a hit, right? He's like the second.
It's
most
his first
popular
auto
character.
too. He never had one in the initial one where they brought something out a decade ago. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, it's like that's sold. That's at a buy it now for like 450 on eBay, and I'm like, well, if you're not paying much less than that for the box, if I don't know, like that seems like it should be going, but maybe the hits are. I mean, it sounds like with this, if you're getting 5 autos or sketches for a 12 box hobby case, sounds like there's more hits in this product than there is Disney when it comes to autos and sketches. But I think there's less numbered stuff, is my understanding. So
based off what you're just seeing right now, if this was your type of brand, right? If this was something that you would be going into, based off the prices you're seeing, are you going for a box or are you picking your singles?
Oh, singles is always the answer.
Yeah, I figured, but I wonder if it's the same.
But you want the chase, like you're paying for the chase, right? Yeah. But yeah, no, I think the value would probably be in singles for sure, especially if you want to like collect a certain part within the set, like a character or like this. There's a Mr. Krabs 1-of-1 sketch, like that went for 425. Like that seems like a fairly big hit. So I don't know. Once again, like not my brand. This isn't a product for me, but I do like kind of following and see what's happening with it. So
Yeah, it's really impressive when you look back at it, and it's crazy it's been 25 years because I remember when it launched, and that just ages
yeah,
us, which is insane. But when you look back in another 25 years, if people have these in their personal collections and they show them, and if we even have a social media or if it's instilled in our brains, who knows by then, will we
sure.
actually see what these kind of cards are? It'll be really fun to look back at them. I don't know, will it have that same feeling as a 1990s rookie of Gary or 89 rookie of Gary Sheffield, a SpongeBob sketch card? I don't know, but it'll
I
be
don't
some
know.
interesting stuff nonetheless. Hey, this weekend, you and Elijah are going all over the place. Auburn Cards is going across the country. Multiple card shows this weekend for you guys.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've actually gone to different shows on the same weekend. So Elijah flying up to Chicago for a 2-day show, the Midwest Monster, which might be the biggest show this weekend anywhere. And so he'll be up in Chicago partnering with some of his buddies. And yeah, he'll be buying, and he's got a few things that he's going to be trying to move to, but that'll be fun. And then I'm staying a little bit more local, about a 3-hour drive east of us to Commerce, Georgia for the Commerce Card Show. We vended this show once, and it was a great buying show. It was a better selling show for Pokemon than it was for sports. And so he's taking all of our sports stuff to Chicago. I'm taking all the Pokemon stuff to Commerce. But yeah, Commerce, the Commerce Card Show, very, very impressed with what they've done so far. They continue to grow the dang thing, which is super, super cool. And their branding and messaging has been it's the biggest show in Georgia for this weekend. And so I bet we get a nice Atlanta crowd. Cards HQ is going to be there. He's done such a good job of building the show. And yeah, I can't wait to set up. Also, my wife is coming. It's going to be her first ever card show. So she's gonna come help us out. So should be a good weekend.
Oh man, so I'm sure you're looking for Bowman Chrome Ohio State cards to buy, right? That's probably where you're going at. What are you looking at? What are you looking to buy if someone's listening and they
Yeah,
know
I
you're
want
going to be
all of
there?
it. I want all of it. We've been buying a lot of basketball lately. I would love to buy some basketball that comes up. I've also been looking at a lot of baseball. I've also I'm limited with how much I can do during football season because I shows are on the weekends and I cover Auburn football for a living. And so I've been liking the buying clean raw and grading it because I'm limited in how much I can kind of put into this. So the turnaround times for PSA are awful right now, but now it kind of makes sense for me to do that, to kind of put my raw inventory in PSA and slab it. And so then when I'm ready to go early next year, I'll be able to move, these slabs. So would love to buy clean raw of Pokemon or sports. That's kind of my main goal, I would say.
Exciting stuff. Hopefully you get a little bit more traction than what happened at Culture Collision, because I know it was an up and down weekend. You think you're going to have a little bit more traffic here? What are you feeling?
I hope so. If
Yeah.
not, the table's way less. So
There you go.
that
That's
was
good.
insane. And there are people putting out videos leaving Culture yeah, probably not doing the show again. I don't know why they had it the same week as Collecticon. I don't know. Very strange. Very strange.
Midway or
Decision.
O'Hare, when it comes to Elijah traveling, completely different atmospheres when you're flying into Chicago. If it's either Midway or O'Hare, so hopefully he gets in there safe and has a good one as well this weekend.
Yeah, he flew into O'Hare for the National, so I'm
Mhm.
assuming it'll be O'Hare again.
It would make more sense if you're in the middle there, but they're completely different airports, completely different vibes. It's one's really good, one's really bad. I'll let you be the judge of that. Which one you want to
I've
decide?
only been in Midway. I've been to Midway twice for layovers,
Mm-hmm.
and they were fine.
Okay, all right, good to hear. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, you have not had that same experience.
One of these days, we might have to do a ranking of just a non category of cards, but ranking the worst airports, and maybe what you just said might be in my top 5.
All right, so if there was a Topps Chrome Airports
Mm,
product, you're
yeah,
not PCing.
I would go for
Midway.
singles, and I could tell you that Midway and Phoenix would not be one that I'd PC.
Understood. That's Christian Rauh. I'm Zach Blackerby. Follow Auburn.cards on socials. We'll see you next time. This has been Let's Talk Cards.